Hello explorers, welcome back to another exciting video and thanks for watching. As you all know, it's always a pleasure presenting to you some interesting but lesser known facts about the beautiful countries on the African continent. Today we're shining the light on one of the most peaceful countries in Africa, Ghana. Officially referred to as the Republic of Ghana, Ghana is a country located along the Gulf of Guinea and the Atlantic Ocean in the sub-region of West Africa. It is bordered by Ivory Coast to the west, Burkina Faso to the north, Togo to the east, and the Gulf of Guinea and the Atlantic Ocean in the south. Ghana means warrior king in the Soninke language. The country, which got its independence from Britain in 1957, has a surface area of about 238,535 kilometers square and a population of about 30 million people. The capital and largest city of Ghana is Accra, and the official language of the country is English, but Asante, Twi and Ga are also popular languages spoken in the country. Ghana is a country with interesting cultures, friendly people and rich cuisine. And with that said, here are 10 things you probably didn't know about Ghana. Number 1. Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa in the world. Cocoa is the chief agricultural export of Ghana and Ghana's main cash crop. Cocoa cultivation is not native to the country. Ghana's cocoa cultivation, however, is noted within the developing world to be one of the most modeled commodities and valuables. Ghana's cocoa production grew an average of 16% between 2000 and 2003. Cocoa has a long production cycle, far longer than many other tropical crops, and new hybrid varieties need over 5 years to come into production, and a further 10 to 15 years for the tree to reach its full bearing potential. Between 2018 and 2019, Ghana is estimated to have produced about 900,000 tons of cocoa beans, a decrease from approximately 969,000 tons in 2016 and 2017. Although cocoa beans originated from South America, the majority of cocoa beans production is attributed to Africa, and Ghana currently ranks as the second cocoa producing nation in the world. Number 2. Ghana was the first sub-Saharan country to gain independence. The decolonization of Africa took place in the mid to late 1950s and 1960s, with sudden and radical regime changes on the continent as colonial governments made the transition to independent states. This was often quite unorganized and marred with violence and political turmoil. In 1949, riots broke out across the territory, and while Nkrumah and other leaders ended up in prison, the event became a catalyst for the independence movement. After being released from prison, Nkrumah founded the Convention People's Party, which launched a mass-based campaign for independence with the slogan, "Self-Government Now." In February 1951, the Convention People's Party gained political power by winning 34 of 38 elected seats, including one from Nkrumah, who was imprisoned at the time. London revised the Gold Coast Constitution to give blacks a majority in the legislature in 1951. On the 6th of March 1957, Ghana, formerly Gold Coast, became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from European colonization. Number 3. Ghana is the 4th most peaceful country in Africa. According to the Global Peace Index, Ghana ranks as the 4th most peaceful country in Africa and the 44th in the world. Iceland remains the most peaceful country in the world, a position it's held since 2008. It is joined at the top of the index by New Zealand, Austria, Portugal, and Denmark. Bhutan has recorded the largest improvement of any country in the top 20, rising 43rd place in the last 12 years, the report says. Ghana is said to be peaceful due to Gulf leadership and political stability. Number 4. Ghana is the highest producer of gold in Africa. Ghana has become the world's number 1 producer of gold in Africa, following a drastic increase in productivity and investment in 2014. The West African country, formerly known as Gold Coast until March 6, 1957, beat former world number 1 gold producer, South Africa, which has until recently held the top position for several decades. South Africa now takes 2nd place, with a huge gap existing between the two countries that have benefited from gold trade centuries before colonization. According to Bloomberg, the humiliating defeat South Africa has suffered comes as the icing on the cake following the internal gold mining battle that the country has been facing since late 2013. Number 6. The Ghanaian currency called cedis got its name from seashells. The use of shells as monetary currency is not unusual historically. In Western Africa, shell money, known as cowries, was legal tender until the middle of the 19th century. The Ghanaian currency, cedi, is named after the Fanti word, meaning cowrie shell, which was first introduced as currency in Africa during the 14th century. Cowrie shells belong to a species of sea snails with porcelain-like shells. They are thought to have been introduced to Africa through trade with merchants from Arabia, at a time when slave trade was at its peak. The value of the shells was greater in Ghana and other African nations than the supplying regions, which made trades in cowries lucrative, and the use of shells as currency quickly became widespread. Modern coins were produced and used in Ghana from the late 1700s, but cowries were accepted as a currency until 1901. Number 7. Ghana is home to the largest artificial lake in the world. Lake Volta, the largest artificial reservoir in the world based on surface area, is contained behind the Akosombo Dam, which generates a substantial amount of Ghana's electricity. It is completely within the country of Ghana and has a surface area of about 8,502 square kilometers. It extends from Akosombo in the south to the northern part of the country. The lake is formed by the Akosombo Dam, which was originally conceived by the geologist Albert Ernest Kitson in 1915, but whose construction only began in 1961 with completion in 1965. Because of the formation of Lake Volta, about 78,000 people were relocated to new towns and villages, along with 200,000 animals belonging to them. About 120 buildings were destroyed, not including small residences, as over 3,000 square miles, that is 7,800 kilometers square of territory were flooded. Number 8. The oldest European building in sub-Saharan Africa is found in Ghana. Elmina Castle was erected by the Portuguese in 1482 as Castelo de São Jorge da Mina, St. George of the Mine Castle, also known as the Castelo da Mina, or simply Mina in present-day Elmina, Ghana. It was the first trading post built on the Gulf of Guinea and the oldest European building in existence south of the Sahara. First established as a trade settlement, the castle later became one of the most important stops on the route of the Atlantic slave trade. The Dutch seized the fort from the Portuguese in 1637 after an unsuccessful attempt to the same extent in 1596, and took over all of the Portuguese Gold Coast in 1642. Slave trade continued under the Dutch until 1814. In 1872, the Dutch Gold Coast, including the fort, became a possession of Great Britain. Number 9. Ghana is famous for its jollof rice. Jollof rice is one of the most common dishes in West Africa. There are several regional variations in names and ingredients. In Mali, it's called Zamei in Bamanankan. The dish most common name, jollof rice, derives from the name of the Wolof people, though in Senegal and Zambia the dish is referred to in Wolof as benachin. Despite the fact that jollof rice originated from Senegal, it was passed along the West African coast and became very popular in countries like Nigeria, Cameroon and Ghana. Ghanaians have adopted the dish and are famous for cooking the best jollof rice on the continent. In Ghana, jollof rice is served with shito, a special Ghanaian spicy sauce. There's a constant battle between Nigeria and Ghana over which country cooks the best jollof rice. In a recent jollof rice competition, Ghana defeated Nigeria, although they didn't win first place. Number 10. Ghana has the largest market in West Africa. Right in the heart of Kumasi is one of West Africa's largest open-air markets. It is bordered to the north by the Kumasi Cultural Center and to the north by the Komfo Anoke Teaching Hospital. The southern part of the Kejetia market forms a border with Adum, the commercial center of the city. Virtually everything that one wants to purchase from a market can be found at the Kumasi Central Market. Kejetia market ranges from gold jewelry and diamond jewelry, handcrafted by the Ashantis. Food, Ashanti Kente clothing fabrics, and footwear by Printex, spices, grains and toiletries. The Kejetia market is the largest single market in West Africa. It has over 10,000 stores and stalls. There you have it, explorers. Those were some of the facts you probably didn't know about Ghana. As a little compensation for sticking till the end of this video, here's an extra bonus fact for you. Number 11. The Kente cloth is originally from Ghana. Most of you watching this video must have probably heard or seen the Kente cloth. Kente, known as Nwentoma in Akan, is a type of silk and cotton fabric made of interwoven stripes and native of the Akan ethnic group of Ghana. Kente is made in the Akan lands such as the Ashanti Kingdom, including the towns of Bonwire, Adanwomase, Sakora Wono and Tonto in the Kwabre areas of the Ashanti region. This fabric is worn by almost every Ghanaian tribe. Kente comes from the word kenten, which means basket in the Asante dialect of Akan. Akans refer to kente as nwentoma, meaning woven clothes. It is an Akan royal and sacred cloth, worn only in times of extreme importance, and it was the cloth of the kings. Over time, the use of kente became more widespread. However, its importance remains, and it's held in high esteem by Southern Ghanaians. Globally, it's used in the design and academics too in graduation ceremonies. Thanks for watching this video.